agriculture is a vital sector for humanity, providing food and livelihood, particularly in agrarian countries. However, the increase in agricultural and agro-industrial activities has led to a significant rise in agricultural waste, which include crop residues and solid waste from agro-industry. This waste accumulate especially during harvest season, often dismissed as a minor problem. However, improper management of agricultural waste can result in serious environmental, social, and health issues such as air pollution from open burning, greenhouse gas emission, soil and water contamination, and unpleasant odors affecting local communities.
Despite this challenge, agricultural waste possesses considerable economic and energy potential. Biomass from this waste contains valuable carbon and organic compounds that can be transformed into renewable energy, fertilizer, and industrial raw materials. In developed countries, agricultural waste is converted into high-value products like biochar, biogas, and biooil, presenting opportunities for additional income for farmers and local industries. The need to mitigate environmental pressure and global energy demands exacerbates the importance of addressing agricultural waste, with increasing efforts to reduce reliance on fossil fuel. Agricultural biomass stands out as a readily available renewable resource that does not compete with food supplies, thus supporting both energy security and climate change mitigation.
However, the transition to utilizing agricultural waste is hindered by several obstacles, including limited technological access, insufficient infrastructure, and inadequate government support. Many farmers rely on open burning for waste disposal, which, while quick and economical, pose long-term detrimental effects. Technical and economic challenges such as diverse raw material composition and high logistic costs complicate communal waste utilization.
One promising solution is converting agricultural waste into biooil through thermal decomposition. This process offers a sustainable energy alternative and can create a circular economy by turning waste into a source of income for communities. Proper development of biooil production can enhance village energy security, boost local income, and mitigate pollution and carbon emissions from traditional waste management practices. In conclusion, agricultural waste should not be regarded as mere refuse. Instead, it represents a valuable resource that, if managed effectively, can address pollution while facilitating the transition to clean energy. The strategic investment in agricultural waste processing into biooil must be prioritized to harness its potential and ensure sustainable agricultural practices for the future.
The 2021 study published in the Journal of Analytical and Applied Pyrolysis with the title Biooil Stability Through Stepwise Pyrolysis of Groundnut Shells by Bettneger and colleagues demonstrates how controlled stepwise heating can create a smoother and more predictable transition from biomass into biooil. Instead of exposing the material to a sudden high temperature, the groundnut shells are heated gradually, allowing its chemical fraction to break down its own stage. This prevents the chaotic mixture of reactive compounds typically produced during single-step pyrolysis and result in a cleaner vapor stream that ultimately condenses into a more stable biooil. The study further shows that biooil produced two-step heating method exhibits the highest stability under accelerated aging test, with stability improving even more when the oil is stored at low temperatures and blended with small amounts of methanol. A similar focus on improving bio-oil quality appears in the 2025 study with title Full Potential of Bio-oil from Pyrolysis of Fresh Palm Fruit, Buns and Waste Cooking Oil Sludge. By combining agricultural residues with industrial waste, the research found that although increasing the share of waste cooking oil sludge reduces the overall yield, it significantly enhanced fuel quality. The resulting bio-oil contained more long-chain alkanes and alkanes, achieved a heating value to 42 mg per kilogram, and had a viscosity similar to diesel, showing that pyrolysis can turn mixed waste stream into full-grade bio-oil. And the next, the 2023 paper with the title Optimization of Pyrolysis Condition for Production of Rice Husk Based in Bio-oil as an Energy Carrier reinforces the importance of precision in thermal processing. By optimizing temperature, heating rate, and residence time, the research achieved a bio-oil yield of around 38% with a heating value of 23.4 mg per kilogram and very low ash content. Spectroscopic analysis revealed that phenolic compounds dominate the composition, contributing to energy density and overall fuel potential. This work highlights how fine-tuning pyrolysis parameters can significantly improve the conversion of agricultural residues like rice husks into value liquid fuels. Lastly, the 2024 review bio-oil production from waste plant seeds biomass as a pyrolysis lignocellulosic feedstocks expand the perspective by showing that non-edible and discarded plant seeds can be reproduced an average bio-oil yield of nearly 48%. With additional upgrading methods such as catalyst pyrolysis, co-pyrolysis, or post-processing, the energy potential of seed-derived bio-oil can be pushed even higher. This underscores how a wide variety of neglected biomass resources can be transformed into viable energy carriers. Taken together, these four studies reveal a clear pattern, whether through stepwise heating, co-pyrolysis strategies, optimized operating conditions, and exploring new biomass feedstock. The path from waste material to high-quality bio-oil is becoming increasingly efficient and controlled. Each of approach contributes to a more stable, higher value renewable fuel, strengthening the role of bio-oil as a promising alternative energy research.
Journal from Hong et al. 2021. The article highlights that the hydrothermal release (HTL) process is an effective way to convert penicillin fermentation residues (PR) into high-quality bio-oils. This process can produce bio-oil with a solid concentration of 18% for 174 minutes at an ideal temperature of 300 Celsius with a solid concentration of 18%. The HTL reaction involves the depolymerization of the PR macromolecules, which produce volatile compounds. that in the fermentation of bio-oils, the result of the study also show the balance between depolymerization and repolymerization greatly affect the quality of the product. To avoid instability, the nitrogen in the bio-oil must be minimized. The product exhibits a bio-oil with medium molecular weight and high aromatic fraction, which make it fuel a chemical precursor. This study demonstrations that potential of HTL in the use pharmaceutical was to support in circular economy and sustainable renewable energy. Journal from Almut et al. 2025. Pyrolysis of mango seeds in fixed bed reactor shows significant potential as biomass conversion pathway to produce bio-oil rich in valuable compounds. Report that the thermochemical process is able to produce an oil fraction dominated by fatty acid, ester, and a number of aromatic compounds formed due to the thermal degradation of triglycerides and lignococcus components in mango seeds. This chemical profile show that mango seeds as fruit agricultural waste have early characteristics that favor the formation of the bio-oil potential energy application. However, the high oxygen content inherent in the pyrolysis oil fraction cause limited thermal stability and tendency for polymerization during storage. Therefore, emphasize the need for upgrading process such as hydrooxygenation, esterification, or catalytic stabilization to improve the quality of bio-oils, reduce oxygen levels, and improve combustion. Chitra et al. 2025. The study examined the conversion of waste through co-pyrolysis with the help of microwave, that is mixing sweet sludge SS and banana peel BP as raw materials that heating it under pyrolysis condition to produce bio-oil. The microwave process was chosen because it is believed to able to speed heating and distribute the heat more evenly, thereby improving the efficiency of conversion to liquid fraction. In process optimization, the author examines variables such as SS-BP ratio, microwave power, and pyrolysis condition to maximize bio-oil yield and improve the chemical and physical properties of bio-oil. The results show that the optimal combination of raw material and heating condition produce bio-oil with better characteristics than single pyrolysis of one material alone, suggesting that co-pyrolysis of organic waste plus biomass waste can be an effective pathway for energy production from waste. Journal from Almuid et al. 2025. This study evaluates the process of pyrolysis of mango seed in a fixed bed reactor to produce bio-oil as an alternative fuel. Mango seeds are first analyzed through proximate and ultimate to ensure that their content is suitable for feedstock. The pyrolysis process is carried under oxygen-free condition so that main components of cellulose, hemicellulose, and lignin biomass undergo thermal decomposition into liquid, solid, and gaseous fraction. The main focus of research is on increasing bio-oil production through temperature regulation and heating control in fixed bed reactor that allow for the gradual release for volatiles. The result of the study show that mango seed produce bio-oil fraction with competitive yields compared to other lignocellulose biomass. The physical and chemical properties of the bio-oil obtained are also analyzed and show characteristics that can be considered as an alternative fuel after upgrading stage. The effectiveness of the process in breaking down the organic structure of mango seeds into bio-oil confirm that these agricultural residues has significant energy potential.
The journal from Lyakos et al. 2025, the use of agriculture waste as a source of bio-oil is one of the more important strategies in the development of renewable energy because biomass waste has a high and abundant content of lignocellulose. The study showed that agriculture waste can be processed into biocrude through the hydrothermal liquefaction or HTL method, resulting in a relatively stable bio-oil that can be integrated with conventional oil refinery system. The study emphasized the importance of assessing the stability of bio-oils as the chemical properties and quality of product can change during storage. The results show that agricultural waste, including vegetable residue, straw, and other crop residues, has high potential as a biofuel feedstock, while supporting the reduction of organic waste and sustainable energy development. These findings are an important reference for further research that compares various methods of converting biomass into bio-oil, either through pyrolysis, fast pyrolysis, catalytic pyrolysis, or gasification, with a focus on process efficiency, oil quality, and stability of the final product. Journal from Pradip et al. 2025. Agricultural waste is increasingly being researched as a renewable energy source that has the potential to replace fossil fuel. Biomass from agricultural waste generally has a high lignocellulose content, so it can be converted into energy through various thermochemical methods. One of the processes that is widely discussed is torrefaction, which is the pretreatment stage at medium temperatures that function to reduce moisture content, increase calorific value, and improve biomass storage stability. This process is also able to change the character of biomass so that it is easier to process at the advanced conversion stage. After torrefaction, biomass can be converted more efficiently using the pyrolysis method to produce bio-oil as an alternative fuel. The journal confirms that the success of conversion is strongly influenced by process parameters such as operating temperature, residence time, and characteristic of the biomass used. Therefore, torrefaction can be used as an initial reference or comparative method in the exploration of the use of agricultural waste into bio-oil through various other thermochemical technologies. The journal from Mekonnen et al. 2025. Spent coffee ground, or SCG, is one of the agricultural biomass that is widely produced from the food and beverage industry sector, but most of it is still not utilized optimally. This journal examines the process of torrefaction of SCG as a strategy to improve its quality into solid fuel. Torrefaction has been proven to increase the calorific value, reduce moisture content, and decrease the volatile content so that the characteristic of biomass become more stable and close to coal. With better energy characteristic, the torrefaction SCG has great potential to be used as an alternative fuel or feedstock for advanced thermochemical conversion. In addition, the journal emphasizes the importance of the selection of torrefaction temperatures, which have a direct effect on the chemical composition and energy efficiency of the SCG. The development of this technology is the basis for integrating purification with other methods such as pyrolysis or gasification in order to produce more valuable liquid biofuels or gases. Through this approach, coffee grounds are not only waste but can be converted into a more sustainable and economical renewable energy source. The journal from Palm et al. 2025. Hydrothermal liquefaction, or HTL, is introduced in this journal as a promising technology for the conversion of wet biomass into high-quality liquid biofuel. The main advantage of HTL is its ability to process biomass with high moisture content without the need for a drying process first, making it particularly relevant for agricultural waste and other organic biomass. This process takes place under subcritical conditions, usually 250 until 350 degrees Celsius at high pressure, producing bio-crude oil that characteristically resemble fossil oil. In addition, HCl also produces solid fraction and gases that can be reused as energy or other raw materials. The journal emphasizes that the effectiveness of HTL is highly dependent on operating parameters such as temperature, pressure, type of catalyst, and biomass composition. This technology is also considered to have dual potential as a method of producing renewable and the same time waste reduction solution. This HTL can be an alternative method or comparison to other thermochemical processes such as pyrolysis or gasification in the processing of agricultural waste into renewable energy.
First, journal from Kondeco et al. 2021. The study examines the utilization of agricultural waste through a solvent-based liquefaction process to produce bio-oil, considering that the amount of waste that cannot be used is quite large. Acid catalyst liquefaction process with 2-ethylhexanol solvents at 160 degrees Celsius have been shown to be effective in producing bio-oils from biomass, including rice husk, grape seeds, and olive residues, with a conversion efficiency of about 55%, especially on olive residues. And this procedure removes 60 until 70% of the minerals, resulting in cleaner gasoline. Although promising, issues related to the use of catalysts and solvents still need to be resolved, such as the need for additional testing of combustion emissions. Overall, the many research suggests that solvent-based liquefaction is a potential approach to convert pertinent waste into liquid energy that supports the development of biomass-based renewable energy. Next, journal from Kumar et al. 2023. This article discussed the potential of agricultural waste as a sustainable renewable energy source. They emphasize that using biomass waste, such as stems and leaves, can minimize greenhouse gas emissions. This article examines the chemical and physical characteristics of biomass that affect the efficiency of conversion to bioenergy, highlighting a pre-treatment approach that is important for improving conversion yields. In addition to suggestions for further research, such as the development of more energy-efficient techniques and life cycle analysis to ensure sustainability, barriers such as pre-treatment costs and environmental impacts are also noted. Third, journal from Gohar et al. 2025. This article conducts a comprehensive analysis of agro-industrial waste for pyrolysis conversion, evaluating how material properties affect yields, especially the quality of pyrolysis and biochar gases. Compared to cleaner materials with high water or ash content and hard to decompose lignocellulose structures behave differently.
Raw material selection and pre-treatment are critical for optimal performance. Through a review of various studies from 2020 to 2025, this article finds that raw materials such as rice husk and straw can produce biochar with good carbon modification and energizing gases, provided pyrolysis is carried out under the right condition. For better comparison of studies, standardization of biomass characterization is also emphasized. This journal provides important guidelines for using agro-industrial waste in producing sustainable renewable energy. Last, journal from Tagade et al. 2021. With a focus on the conversion of biomass to bio-oil, this article examines the development of agricultural waste pyrolysis research in India. Because they are easy to obtain, agricultural waste such as corn cobs and rice straw is emphasized as potential raw materials. Pyrolysis is emphasized as a crucial process in the production of bio-oils, which are influenced by factors such as biomass content and moisture, as well as critical parameters such as operating temperature and heating rate. This article highlights that the type of reactor and the dynamics of heat affect the quality and yield of bio-oil. Although the bio-oil produced from this waste has problems such as high oxygen content and volatility, it shows potential as an alternative fuel after further processing. This article suggests that increased pyrolysis is essential to improve the performance of bio-oils in India. Now that we have completed the literature integration and established a clear understanding of how biomass behaves during pyrolysis, we can move into the next major component of the study, the methodology and modeling phase. This transition is essential because the literature not only gives us theoretical insight, but also provides the empirical foundation needed to build a reliable and realistic modeling framework.
In constructing our model, we chose to base our parameters on spent coffee grounds using data from the journal. This particular study is highly relevant because it offers detailed experimental results on the pyrolysis characteristic of CSGE, such as proximate composition, volatile matter content, and bio-oil yield.
Now, we move into the methodology and modeling section of this study, where we focus specifically on how spent coffee grounds or SCG can be converted into bio-oil through pyrolysis. In this part, we are going to break down the process step by step, starting from the scientific assumption taken from the reference journal, continuing with the mathematical modeling, and ending with the performance evaluation using optimization and query analysis. On the journal, SGG has a high value matter content of around 70%, which make it highly suitable for pyrolysis because volatile component directly affect bio-oil formation. The same journal report that typically yields about 40 until 42 bio-oil under optimized pyrolysis condition. This become a crucial reference for building our mathematical model because production forecast and optimal capacity planning cannot be estimated without accurate process data. So essentially, in data from the journal from the backbone of the answer modeling approach that follows.
Okay, we start with a simple structure consisting of three main variables: the amount of SGG processed, the yield of bio-oil produced, and the economic parameter such as selling price and processing cost. Even though the model looks simple, each component mirrors real industrial consideration. The general equation for calculating revenue remains, where X is the mass of STG process, Y BO is the bio-oil yield taken as 0.42, and P is the market selling price per kilogram. On the cost side, the model keeps the same structure, where CP is the processing cost per kilogram of feedstock. Finally, the objective function is simply what makes this model interesting is that the structure is exactly the same as in our preliminary draft, but the values plugged into the model are now updated based on the STG journal, not coconut cell data. That's why the numbers change but the mathematics remains identical. Using the parameters, we run simulation across multiple processing capacities to identify which capacity yields the highest profit. This forms the core of our linear optimization results and serve as the quantitative basis for recommending a feasible production scale.
Before we move deeper, we need to highlight the supporting assumptions. These assumptions ensure that the optimization model is realistic and grounded in the journal data. The assumptions include the reactor operates under fast pyrolysis conditions. Spent coffee ground moisture content is pre-reduced to standard levels. Yield is fixed at the journal's reported range, and the system assumes a steady, uninterrupted feed of raw materials. These conditions are necessary to avoid fluctuating results. To strengthen the analysis, alternative scenarios are also considered, such as the effect of decreasing selling price, variations in feed availability, or increased processing costs. The sensitivity checks allow us to see how stable the profit curve is under different market conditions. This section is essential because no optimization model should be interpreted without understanding how sensitive it is to external changes. The goal is not only to find the best condition, but also to ensure that the system remains viable even when circumstances shift.
Okay, next, we incorporate a simple queuing analysis to estimate how the reactor performs under continuous input. The reason we include queuing is because pyrolysis reactors operate in battles or semi-continuous modes, which naturally creates waiting times for feedstock. We use an M or M-1 queuing structure where the arrival rate or lambda represents how lucky we use an M or M1 queuing structure where the arrival rate or lambda represents how quickly HTG is supplied, and the service rate represents how quickly the reactor can process each batch. The condition for its system stability is like this, which ensures the reactor does not become overloaded. From this model, we calculate the expected waiting time and system congestion. These metrics help evaluate where the target capacity chosen from the linear optimization is actually feasible in real operation. Next, ini yang selanjutnya. Once the queuing analysis is combined with the economic optimization, we get a final integrated understanding, not only which capacity is most profitable, but also whether foreign reactor can handle that capacity without creating process bottlenecks. The overall methodology, from journal-based assumption to the mathematical model to the operational queuing evaluation, creates a complete and coherent approach to designing a small-scale pyrolysis system for converting spent coffee ground into bio-oil.
We are going to talk about a real case of how agricultural waste, specifically empty fruit bunches from palm oil plantations, can be turned into bio-oil using pyrolysis technology. This project does not just show scientific innovation but also great examples of professionalism, ethics, and awareness of intellectual property rights.
This real case comes from a study done by Mula Warman University in Indonesia, working together with a palm oil industry partner. They process empty fruit bunches, also called TFB, using pyrolysis at temperatures between 500 and 600 degrees Celsius. At 600 degrees Celsius, the process produced the highest amount of bio-oil, about 25% yield from the original biomass. The process also produced biochar and pyrolysis gas, which can be used for energy and agriculture as well.
This technology is a big deal. Instead of burning EFB and causing pollution, the waste is turned into useful fuel. The bio-oil produced has a density around 0.99 to 1.00 gram per centimeter and a viscosity between 3.8 and 5.7 cst. It's rich in useful chemical compounds like phenols and hydrocarbons, which mean it has real potential as renewable fuel and industrial chemicals. So, this is a solid step toward circular economy and reducing carbon emission.
Now, let's talk about professionalism. This research was carried successfully and transparently with proper testing, control experiment, and clear documentation. The collaboration between university research and industry partners show good professional practice, combining science and real industry needs. It's a great example of using knowledge to solve real problems responsibly.
From an ethical perspective, this project supports environmental responsibility by reducing pollution and waste. But ethics also means fairness. The benefits of this technology should be shared not only by the company and researchers, but also by local communities around the plantation. Ethical technology should improve livelihood, protect the environment, and avoid exploitation or social harm.
Another important part is IPR, or intellectual property rights. The design of the pyrolysis reactor, process parameters, and the upgrading method for bio-oil can all be patented. IPR helps protect innovation so that no one steals or copies the technology illegally. It also ensures that everyone involved, researchers, institutions, and the industry, gets fair recognition and benefits. Good IPR management also helps scaling up the technology into commercial use.
So, this case shows that technology success isn't just about scientific results. It's also about integrity, social responsibility, and legal protection.
If we combine innovation with ethics and professionalism, we can build a cleaner and more sustainable future.
So, continuing from the case study, let's talk about what the research have found about converting spent coffee ground into bio-oil. Its turn of coffee waste actually has really good characteristic for pyrolysis. Studies show it contain around 65 until 75% volute, meter 5 until 12% moisture, and heating value of 18 until 22 per kilogram. Basically, that means it's full of compounds that break down easily and turn into liquid gold.
Yeah, instead of just throwing coffee was into landfill where it would cause more environmental problems, we can actually turn it into something useful. And considering how much coffee people drink every day, especially in countries like Indonesia, there's a high amount of waste that can be turned into renewable energy.
The pyrolysis process itself is done at high temperatures between 400 and 550 degrees Celsius, and it produces the three things: 1. Bio-oil, 2. Biochar, and last, syngas. Temperatures really affect how much of each product we get. For example, at 400 degrees Celsius, you only get around 32 up to 35% bio-oil, because the breakdown reaction isn't fully happening yet.
But when the temperature reaches 500 degrees Celsius, that's when bio-oil production hits its sweet spot, around 38 until 45%. Meanwhile, biochar drops to about 30 until 34% because more volatile materials evaporate. If you push the temperature up to 550 degrees Celsius, then more cracking reaction happen, which means more syngas up to 35 until 40%, but less bio-oil. So, the best range for making the most bio-oil is usually around 480 until 520 degrees Celsius.
The bio-oil product looks like a dark brown liquid. It's pretty actually, with pH between 2.5 and 3.5, and has density around 1.10 until 1.20 gram per milliliter. Its heating value, it's about 16 until 20 per kilogram. Chemically, it's contain compound like phenols, ketones, borans, alcohol, and organic acid.
Even though it's not as powerful as fossil diesel, it has valuable chemicals that industries need, like phenol and furfurar. Then the downside is that bio-oil still contains a lot of oxygen, which makes it unstable and pretty corrosive. So it usually needs upgrading process like hydrodeoxygenation to improve its quality.
The process also makes biochar, which is super useful. It has a large surface area between 115 and 500 square meters per gram, and 16 until 75% fixed carbon. Biochar can be used to filter water, improve soil in agriculture, or even act as a catalyst in later processing stage.
And don't forget syngas. It's made up of gases like carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane. It can actually be burned to heat the pyrolysis reactor itself, which saves external energy. So, the process becomes more efficient and more environmentally friendly.
So, overall, converting coffee waste through pyrolysis is not just possible, it's actually a really promising technology for turning agricultural waste into renewable energy.
And what's cool is that it fits perfectly into the idea of a circular economy where nothing goes to waste and everything becomes useful again.
biooil and optimizing the process when the energy balance is better.
But with continued research and development, this could become a solution that's used widely in industry, communities, and maybe even small local business someday.
We would like to share our reflection and lifelong learning experience based on our study of converting agricultural waste into biooil through the pyrolysis process. In the beginning, we tended to view agricultural waste such as rice hulls, corn cobs, palm oil residues, sugarcane bagasse, and other biomass materials as materials with no significant value and typically disposed of our burn. However, after exploring research studies and understanding biomass properties, we learned that agricultural waste contain high volatile matter and considerable calorific value, which make it highly suitable for conversion into renewable energy. Through this project, we realize the waste is not simply a disposal problem, but rather an underutilized energy research. We also studied how process parameter, especially temperature control around 450 until 550 Celsius, strongly affect the distribution and quality of biooil, biochar, and syngas. This helps us understand that engineering involves precision and even small change can significantly influence performance outcomes.
Throughout this project, we deepened our understanding of pyrolysis technology and the scientific behavior of biomass under thermochemical conversion. We learned that biooil produced from agricultural waste has potential as an alternative liquid fuel, but still face limitations such as high acidity, instability, and high oxygen content, which reduce energy density and storage quality. This finding help us understand that renewable energy development is an ongoing process that requires upgrading, optimization, and innovative approach such as catalysis, reactor design improvement, or blending with fossil fuels. We also use analytical tools such as linear programming to analyze economic feasibility and queen theory to model process flow stability. This experience taught us that engineering is not only physical experimentation but also involves statistical evaluation, economic decision making, and problem solving based on data. Working through research articles and comparing findings strengthen our critical thinking skills and help us connect theory to real-world sustainability needs.
Okay, next. This project also taught us about the importance of ethics and professionalism in engineering. We learned about developing technology such as pyrolysis is not only about productivity or profit, but also about transparency, environmental safety, and fairness to society. The use of agricultural waste for renewable energy can reduce open burning, minimize pollution, and support circular economy practice. However, we must ensure that technology implementation benefits not only industries but also for farmers, surrounding communities, and environmental ecosystems. Responsible engineering means presenting about data, next considering long-term ecological and ensuring the solution supports sustainable development. This helps us understand that engineering decisions carry real consequences and that integrity, accuracy, and ethical responsibility are essential values in our profession. This learning journey made us realize how important lifelong learning is, especially in rapidly developing fields such as renewable energy technology. Scientific knowledge, technological tools, digital analysis, and sustainability strategies continue to evolve, meaning that engineers must continue updating their skills and knowledge. Through teamwork, research, challenges, and problem solving, we developed soft skills including communication, adaptability, time management, and critical analysis. We also learned that failure or unexpected research outcomes should not discourage us. Instead, they serve as motivation to keep improving and exploring new approaches. This experience strengthened our belief that learning doesn't end in the classroom. To contribute to a cleaner environment, responsible engineering practice, and innovation in sustainable energy, we must commit to continuous learning throughout our lives.
In closing, this study has shown the agricultural waste has significant untapped potential as renewable energy resource. What is often considered a disposal problem can actually be converted into valuable products such as bio-oil, biochar, and syngas through the pyrolysis process. This approach supports cleaner energy while reducing environmental pollution and contributing to sustainable waste management. Throughout the research, we have learned that pyrolysis plays a strategic role in addressing energy shortage and promoting a circular economy. However, this process still requires continuous development to achieve more optimal outcomes. The findings from our analysis highlight that bio-oil production is promising, but there are challenges in product quality, cost, efficiency, and process stability that must be addressed for industrial scale implementation.
Okay, one of the key observations from our study is that the properties of bio-oil produced from agricultural waste, such as high acidity, high oxygen content, and instability, currently limit its direct application as an alternative fuel. These characteristics indicate that additional upgrading processes are required to improve storage quality, combustion performance, and compatibility with existing energy system. In addition, our economic and queuing analysis showed that scaling up pyrolysis facilities requires careful consideration of operational efficiency, equipment capacity, and processing flow management. The initial model suggests that profitability may be limited without optimization or cost reduction strategies. This proves that while the technology is feasible, it must be supported by systematic improvements and stronger industrial planning.
Based on our research and analysis, several recommendations can be made to support future development. 1. Process optimization and reactor improvement. Research shall continue and entails pyrolysis condition, temperature control, and reactor design, potentially including catalysis pyrolysis, to increase bio-oil yield and product quality. 2. Technology for bio-oil upgrading. Exploration of upgrading technologies such as hydrotreatment, fractional distillation, and blending with fossil fuels can help improve fuel properties and market value. 3. Economic enhancement and industrial integration. Cost reduction strategies such as energy integration, heat recovery, and efficient feedstock logistics should be priorities in improved commercial viability. And 4. governmental and policy support. Financial incentives, research funding, and renewable energy regulatory frameworks will be essential to accelerate adoption in investment. And last, community and industry collaboration. Partnership with farmers and local communities should be established to ensure raw material availability and equitable economic benefits.
This study also reminded us of the importance of lifelong learning in engineering. The rapid development of renewable energy technologies demands continuous improvement of knowledge and skills. Engineers must remain adaptable, innovative, and ethically responsible in contributing to sustainable solutions. Through this project, we strengthen our teamwork, critical thinking, and problem-solving skills, and we learn that challenges such as economic limitation or performance constraints drive future innovation rather than represent failure. Ultimately, we believe that with continuous research, technological advancement, and strong collaboration among researchers, industry, government, and society, the conversion of agricultural waste through pyrolysis has great potential to support clean energy, strengthen environmental sustainability, and improve economic opportunities in rural communities. That's all our explanation about our project. Thank you for listening us. See you next time. Wassalamualaikum.